Today is the day that we are going to restock our beautiful Dandelion Blossom Butter. Now this is the end of it. There was a very short year for blossoms. We're not sure exactly why. So this is going to be the last of it. We're going to be probably getting maybe 4 jars out of it with this go round. So what I do is I have a cool little bowl, and for the first straining I just use a regular strainer that's super fine, and I pour it on in. So I'm going to pause this for a quick second so I can open the jar because I'm a klutz. So bear with me for a second. If it'll pause. Okay, we're back. So this is how we're going to do the first straining. I know it looks a little funky, but I promise you the oil is going to be a very pretty yellow. I'm going to scrape the rest of that goodness out. We don't want to waste any of it. So we're just going to let it strain. It goes pretty quick. The next part is we're going to put a coffee filter in there to get out any particles or anything like that. Can you see that coming out? Oh, very pretty. Love this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this until this is done straining, and then I'll show you how we use the coffee filter. Okay, so I strained it, smushed it, and all that. And see all those particles down there? That's all just from the plant and inside the flowers and everything. So we're going to use the coffee filter probably more than once to strain all the rest of that out. So we'll be left with some beautiful oil. Look how colorful that is. I love it. So what I'm going to do is take this, my strainer again. Now I washed and dried it. Oh gosh, don't mind my sink. I washed and dried it. And I actually used my hair dryer on it to make sure that there is no water left in it at all. So then plain old regular coffee filter. And we're going to take our oil and just gently pour it in because I don't want any of this to fall. And you see that? Pour it right on in there. And all those particles are coming out. And I'm going to go ahead and let as much drip out as we can. And this part will take a little bit longer because it is a coffee filter. And see what's left in there? Now I want to make sure I don't get any of that in there. And you can see it's starting to come out. It'll take a little bit because the coffee filter is not as big as the strainer, obviously. And we will be right back after the first straining. I'm back. In here is the dandelion oil, and you can see some particles still left. Whenever you're working with any plant material or anything natural, you're gonna still have a little bit of vegetation or plant stuff left. Bear with me. After I melt this down and whip it and get it all set, you're not going to see any of that left. It is not going to hurt the oil at all. It's not going to make the butter any less fabulous for your skin. So what else is going to go in this? Some mango butter, and this is cruelty-free and vegan. And what this does, it's fabulous for your skin. I'm using a lot of dry butters, and what that means, they're going to take a lot to melt. So this is going to be my summertime formula, and I'm kind of thinking I love the feel of these so much that I might just keep it that way. So yeah, here's the mango butter. And here is some yellow beeswax. I do not use the ivory, and I don't use anything that I wouldn't put on my skin. Next is going to be a little bit of arrowroot powder. And what this will do is keep it, again, from being as greasy as it would be if I were to do the cocoa butter and the shea butter. Same with mango, because it's a dry oil. It's not going to be greasy. And then last is some kokum butter. And again, this is a drier, harder butter. And this will be great for a summertime formula. And like I said before, it is going to pretty much stick around from now on, because I love the feel of it. And as always, vitamin E is going to go in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weigh these out and be right back. Alrighty, so everything is measured out. It is 8 ounces of everything except for the beeswax. I put that to 6 ounces plus 3 or 4 tablespoons of arrowroot powder. It depends on what you'd like to do and how greasy you want your butter. And nobody wants it greasy. So what I did here is I filled up a regular pot with some water, and we're going to do this the double boiler. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Turn this on between, right around 4, right around medium. And we let that boil. Well, the water will boil and this will melt down, and I'll be mixing it and whisking it as we go along. And then I will be right back to show you what it looks like. Alrighty, so it has been just a little while. And you can see this starting to melt down. And I'll whisk it a little bit as we keep going along. But we're making progress. I like to do it this way better than the microwave. I know a lot of people use the microwave for doing this. I don't get an even melting when I use a microwave. So this way, it is more evenly distributed, and it melts so much better. So there you have it, partway through. All right, we are just about there. A little bit left to go. This does take a little while, but boy, is it worth it. It's almost time to take it off. I love the color. Very pretty. Okay, so I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to let it keep going. Only a few minutes left to go. And then I'll show you the next step. So this is what we got after it's all been melted. It's a pretty, pretty yellow color. And I think this is going to be a fabulous butter. So what I do now is I just stir it and let it cool down just a tiny bit. And then I pop it in the fridge. You wait until it gets a nice little film over the top as it cools. And then you start whipping it. And that's what I'm going to show you next. Alright, so this has been in the fridge for just a small amount of time. And it's almost ready. See how we've got that film going on the top? I'm going to try to whisk this just a little bit. And I'm going to use the beater, but I'm only going to use one beater. So I am going to use one beater because this is somewhat of a small batch and I really don't think I need two. So I'm going to whisk away and be right back. We're going to try this again. I hope I got the towel. I like hot. We're definitely getting closer. What do you guys think? Kind of pretty, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to scrape down the sides and catch the bowl, and I will see you guys in a few. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It might look a little thin now, but it will stiffen in the jars. The vitamin E has been added. Burping Bubbles has been added. I just need to scrape that. And I've got my piping bag in my mason jar, so I can go ahead and fill it right on up. My jars have been sterilized and cleaned, and they're ready to go. I don't know how much I'll get out of this, but we will see and get as many as we can. This is going to be very limited edition because this was such a short year for the blossoms. So let me go ahead and fill up my bag. Okay, so I hope I have this set up. I'm going to just check. I want to show you how fun it is to put these in a jar. So I've got my piping bag all filled up. I got it twisted, and let's just squeeze it in there. Look how fun that is. It almost reminds me of a cookie dough. So I'm going to keep squeezing. And I want to make sure you get as much as you can in your jar. So I am going to keep tamping it down for you. And there you have it. So pretty. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and I will be back to show you the finished jars. Alright, so I did get 1 large and 3 small ones. So that is what I got. So you guys, this is it. This is the limited edition. Everybody wanted to hand me over their dandelion blossoms, and I appreciate it very, very much. But on my farm, I can guarantee that there is no fertilizer or pesticides or anything like that. So I want to make sure I can actually guarantee that. Anybody else's dandelions, I do appreciate it, and thank you so much. But if I can't guarantee it, I can't use them. Alright, so I'm going to let these settle. They will set up, and I'm going to clean up a little bit. With any butters, do not clean them in your sink, because they will cause so many problems. So what I do with these, I wipe them up as much as I can. I bring them outside, I spray them with a hose, I wipe them up again, and clean them by hand. Okay, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me today. Be on the lookout for a video on the difference between dandelion leaves and plantain leaves. I will see you soon. Then in the fridge, whipped, beated 5 times. So look how thick that is. So this is pretty much to the point to where I will be able to whip the snot out of it and get it super fluffy, and it'll work out any lumps in there and everything. I'm also going to add my vitamin E oil in here now. I don't add it when the butters are super hot because I want the benefits of the vitamin E oil to stay intact. And then we're going to add Burping Bubbles fragrance to it. I use this fragrance in all of my dandelion butters. The next video I'm going to show you is how to pick and infuse the dandelion leaves. When I make a butter with the dandelion leaves, I will use this scent as well. It is super, super clean and crisp and bubbly. You know, it's one of those scents that kind of sticks with you and makes you feel like you just jumped out of a bubble bath, and it's one of the best scents around, I think. I have several clients and customers who have asked to keep this scent around, so you shall receive Burping Bubbles. It's also been asked of me, how come I don't use essential oils in everything that I do? And the reason for that is because I want to keep the prices of a lot of my products down for you guys to where you can afford them. If I were to use essential oils in everything, it would not be great. It would be great, but everything would be more expensive. And I want to make sure you guys get things at a good price while still having a luxury product. So I'm going to get to beating the snot out of this, and I'll show you what it looks like.